Are you feeling overwhelmed, on edge, and unable to find peace in your daily life? Chronic stress and anxiety have become epidemic in our modern world, but their roots often go deeper than we realize. Today, we'll explore the hidden factors fueling your stress and anxiety and uncover powerful strategies to finally break free. First, let's talk about a major hidden driver of stress that's rarely discussed: cognitive dissonance. This psychological tension occurs when our actions don't align with our beliefs and values. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with messaging about who we should be and how we should live. We internalize these expectations, creating an idealized self-image that's often in conflict with our authentic selves. This mismatch creates a state of constant internal friction. Part of you is trying to conform to external standards, while another part resists. The result: chronic low-grade stress and anxiety as your mind struggles to reconcile these conflicting aspects of self. To address this, we need to cultivate radical self-acceptance. This doesn't mean complacency, it means acknowledging who you truly are right now, flaws and all. Take time for honest self-reflection. What are your genuine values, desires, and priorities? Where have you been living according to others' expectations? Make a commitment to align your choices with your authentic self, even if it means disappointing others or diverging from societal norms. Another overlooked source of stress is our evolutionary mismatch with modern environments. Our brains evolved to deal with acute, short-term stressors like predator attacks. But now we face a constant barrage of low-grade stressors: traffic, deadlines, information overload that keep our nervous systems perpetually activated. To counter this, we need to create regular periods of true relaxation and safety. This goes beyond basic self-care. We're talking about activating your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode that's the polar opposite of stress. Try this for 10 minutes a day. Create an environment of complete safety and comfort. Dim the lights, wrap yourself in a soft blanket, and focus on slow, deep breathing. As you breathe, gently scan your body and consciously release any tension. This simple practice can recalibrate your nervous system over time. Now, let's discuss a controversial but crucial point: the role of avoidance in perpetuating anxiety. Many well-meaning strategies for managing anxiety actually reinforce it long-term. When we consistently avoid anxiety-provoking situations, we teach our brains that these situations are genuinely dangerous. This creates a feedback loop, making our anxiety worse over time. The counterintuitive solution: gradual, intentional exposure to the things that make you anxious. This doesn't mean recklessly throwing yourself into panic-inducing scenarios. Instead, create a hierarchy of anxiety-provoking situations, starting with mildly uncomfortable ones. Systematically work your way up this ladder, staying in each situation until your anxiety naturally decreases. This process, known as exposure therapy, can be uncomfortable in the short term, but it's one of the most evidence-based ways to reduce anxiety long-term. It teaches your brain that the feared outcome isn't as catastrophic as you imagine, and that you're capable of handling discomfort. Let's shift gears and talk about an often overlooked aspect of chronic stress: loss of personal agency. Many people feel like passive observers in their own lives, buffeted by external forces they can't control. This learned helplessness is a major contributor to ongoing stress and anxiety. To combat this, we need to actively cultivate a sense of agency and self-efficacy. Start by identifying areas of your life where you feel powerless. Then, for each area, brainstorm small, concrete actions you can take to exert some control. Even tiny steps can shift your mindset from victim to active participant. For example, if you feel overwhelmed by world events, choose one specific issue and take a small action. Write to a local representative, or volunteer for an hour. If work stress feels insurmountable, identify one process you could optimize or one boundary you could set. The goal is to prove to yourself that you're not helpless, even in challenging circumstances. Another crucial factor in chronic stress is our relationship with uncertainty. Humans are hardwired to seek predictability and control. But life is inherently uncertain, and our attempts to eliminate all unknowns often backfire, creating more anxiety. The antidote: cultivating comfort with uncertainty. This isn't about becoming apathetic or reckless. It's about developing the mental flexibility to navigate life's inevitable twists and turns. Try this exercise each day. Intentionally do one small thing differently. Take a new route to work, try a new food, or approach a routine task in a novel way. Pay attention to how you feel as you step outside your comfort zone. Now, let's discuss a controversial but important topic: the potential downsides of the self-improvement culture. While personal growth is valuable, the constant push to optimize every aspect of our lives can become a source of stress in itself. We're bombarded with messages that we're not good enough as we are, that we need to be constantly striving for more. This relentless self-improvement treadmill can lead to a state of perpetual dissatisfaction and anxiety. We're never allowed to simply be, to find contentment in the present moment. The solution isn't to abandon self-improvement entirely. Instead, it's about finding a balance between growth and acceptance. Set meaningful goals, but also practice contentment with where you are right now. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Another often overlooked source of chronic stress is cognitive overload. We're living in an age of unprecedented information abundance. While this has many benefits, it also places a massive strain on our cognitive resources. Our brains simply weren't designed to process the sheer volume of data we encounter daily. This constant mental juggling act leads to decision fatigue, difficulty focusing, and a pervasive sense of mental exhaustion. Over time, this cognitive strain manifests as chronic stress and anxiety. To combat this, we need to be intentional about reducing our cognitive load. This goes beyond basic digital detoxes or mindfulness practices. Try implementing a low-information diet, ruthlessly curate your inputs, and subscribe from unnecessary email lists. Limit social media use, and be selective about the news you consume. When you do engage with information, practice active processing. Take notes, reflect on what you've learned, and consider how it applies to your life. This helps transform passive consumption into meaningful engagement. Additionally, create regular periods of true mental quiet. This isn't about meditation, though that can be helpful. It's about allowing your mind to wander freely, without input or directed thought. Engage in activities that occupy your hands but free your mind, of gardening, walking in nature, or simple crafts. This mental downtime is crucial for processing information, making connections, and allowing your subconscious mind to work on problems. Now, let's explore a counterintuitive approach to managing stress: strategic discomfort. Many stress reduction techniques focus on eliminating all forms of discomfort from our lives. But this can actually leave us more vulnerable to stress in the long run. Instead, we can build stress resilience by intentionally exposing ourselves to manageable levels of discomfort. This isn't about being needlessly harsh on yourself. It's about expanding your comfort zone and proving to yourself that you can handle challenges. Try incorporating small, controlled stressors into your routine. Take cold showers, practice intermittent fasting, or engage in challenging physical exercise. Let's discuss another often overlooked factor in chronic stress: misalignment with our circadian rhythms. Our bodies have internal biological clocks that regulate everything from hormone production to cognitive function. When we consistently act against these natural rhythms, it creates a state of constant low-grade stress. Modern life often forces us into schedules that don't match our biological needs. We stay up late staring at screens, eat at irregular times, and force ourselves to be productive when our bodies are primed for rest. To address this, we need to realign our lifestyles with our circadian rhythms as much as possible. This goes beyond basic sleep hygiene. Pay attention to your natural energy fluctuations throughout the day. Schedule demanding tasks for when you're naturally alert, and reserve lower energy periods for rest or less intensive work. Importantly, respect your chronotype, whether you're naturally a morning person or a night owl. While we can't always perfectly align our schedules, even small shifts towards working with our natural rhythms can significantly reduce stress. Now, let's tackle a controversial but crucial point: the role of our belief systems in perpetuating stress and anxiety. Our core beliefs about ourselves and the world shape how we interpret and respond to events. Often, these beliefs operate below our conscious awareness, silently driving our stress responses. Common stress-inducing beliefs include, I must be perfect to be worthy. The world is fundamentally unsafe. I'm responsible for everyone else's happiness. Identifying and challenging these beliefs is critical for long-term stress reduction. This isn't about positive thinking or affirmations. It's about rigorously examining the evidence for and against these beliefs, and consciously choosing more balanced perspectives. For each stress-inducing belief you identify, ask yourself, what evidence supports this belief? What evidence contradicts it? How does holding this belief impact my life? What would a more balanced belief look like? This process can be uncomfortable, as it often means confronting long-held assumptions. But it's one of the most powerful ways to create lasting change in your stress levels. Another overlooked aspect of chronic stress is our relationship with time. Many of us live in a state of constant time scarcity, feeling like there's never enough hours in the day. This perceived lack of time creates a background hum of stress that colors everything we do. Paradoxically, this time anxiety often makes us less efficient. We multitask, rush through activities, and fail to fully engage in the present moment. This creates a vicious cycle where we feel increasingly rushed but accomplish less. To break this cycle, we need to fundamentally shift our relationship with time. This isn't about time management techniques or productivity hacks. It's about changing our perception of time itself. Try this for 1 week. Banish the phrase "I don't have time" from your vocabulary. Replace it with "It's not a priority right now." This simple shift forces you to confront your true priorities and take ownership of your choices. Additionally, practice time abundance. Regularly engage in activities with no set end time or goal. Allow yourself to fully immerse in the experience without watching the clock. This helps recalibrate your perception of time, reducing that constant sense of rush. Now, let's discuss a controversial but important topic: the potential downsides of constant connectivity. While technology has brought many benefits, our always-on culture has created a state of perpetual low-grade stress for many people. We're constantly available, bombarded with notifications, and expected to respond immediately to every message. This erodes our ability to focus, disrupts our natural rhythms, and leaves us feeling perpetually behind. To combat this, we need to establish clear boundaries around our connectivity. This goes beyond basic digital detoxes. It's about fundamentally reassessing our relationship with technology and communication. Try implementing communication office hours. Designate specific times when you'll respond to non-urgent messages, and communicate these boundaries clearly to others. Outside of these hours, turn off notifications and focus on being fully present in your offline life. Additionally, create tech-free zones in your home and life. Perhaps the bedroom is a no-phone zone, or the first hour of your day is device-free. These boundaries help create crucial periods of mental quiet and true relaxation. Let's explore another often overlooked source of chronic stress: lack of meaningful social connection. Humans are inherently social creatures, and our nervous systems are profoundly influenced by our relationships. In our increasingly individualistic and digitally mediated world, many people are experiencing a deficit of genuine, in-person connection. This lack of social support leaves us more vulnerable to stress and anxiety. We're missing out on the calming effects of physical touch, the emotional regulation that comes from face-to-face interaction, and the sense of belonging that buffers us against life's challenges. To address this, we need to prioritize creating and nurturing meaningful relationships. This goes beyond casual socializing or expanding your network. It's about cultivating deep, authentic connections where you feel truly seen and understood. Try this: identify 1 or 2 relationships you'd like to deepen. Make a commitment to regular, distraction-free time together. Practice vulnerable sharing to express your genuine thoughts and feelings, even when it feels uncomfortable. And importantly, be a good listener. Create space for others to share openly with you. Additionally, seek out opportunities for physical touch with consent, of course. Whether it's hugs with friends, partner massage, or even professional therapeutic touch, physical contact can have a profound impact on reducing stress and anxiety. Now, let's tackle a controversial but crucial point: the role of avoidance in perpetuating anxiety. Many common strategies for managing anxiety, while well-intentioned, can actually reinforce it in the long term. When we consistently avoid anxiety-provoking situations, we teach our brains that these situations are genuinely dangerous. This creates a feedback loop, making our anxiety worse over time. The counterintuitive solution: gradual, intentional exposure to the things that make you anxious. This doesn't mean recklessly throwing yourself into panic-inducing scenarios. Instead, create a hierarchy of anxiety-provoking situations, starting with mildly uncomfortable ones. Systematically work your way up this ladder, staying in each situation until your anxiety naturally decreases.